What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Clay, also known as The Creative Fro. I thought I would take you through the process of shooting a stop motion. You want to take time before your shoots to look at what the scenario looks like, where the best spots will be, if something happens where maybe you would change, etc. Now we're going to get into the stop motion specifics. This is for when it comes to shooting the stop motion. What I've been posting on Instagram lately has been in 30 frames per second, meaning my end video is 30 frames per second. Originally, I was doing 24 frames per second, which is like anything you're watching on Netflix and regular TV. Our eyes are conditioned to see 24 frames per second. I'm trying to make the videos stand out a little bit more on Instagram, and I've decided to do 30 frames per second, and I've been doing that for the last month and a half now, and I noticed some videos I love it where we don't need the motion as much, and other videos it's okay. So I'm still testing the waters, but there's no right or wrong way when it comes to the frames per second. You do want to have an idea in mind when you're shooting what you want to export this as. I'm going to need 30 photos for 1 second of footage. With each of these setups that I did here, I made sure to shoot anywhere from 30 to 60 photos, knowing I would get anywhere from 1 to 2 seconds of final video footage. I can slow these shots down later or speed them up in post too as well, but just having a number in mind of how many photos you need to get to complete your sequence. So if I was doing a 24 frame per second timeline at the end, I would take 24 photos for each second of movement. So once the video shoot's complete, we bring the memory card back into the computer. I import it to Lightroom first, and then in Lightroom, all I do is really get the base exposure, add a little bit of color correction. I get one photo ready out of the 30. I'm like, okay, this is the one. Then I copy that look and paste it to the remaining 29. That way the color and light looks the exact same or as close to for that whole sequence. This was a little bit outside of my comfort zone because with stop motion, you want to ideally shoot in controlled lighting where your lighting won't be changing in between each photo. When we shoot outside, the sun and clouds are always moving around, so the light is never exactly the same. And you can kind of see it in some of these shots here, but I was able to play around with it and it wasn't too distracting. So be mindful if you are going to take your stop motion outside, it would be best to do it at a cloudier time or when the light isn't as harsh. That way you're not getting extreme shadows on one shot and extreme bright on other shots. Again, that'll be jarring and take the viewer away from your video. Once we've exported the 30, 60, however many photos from Lightroom, I like to create an event in Final Cut Pro, and I like to name the events of whatever the sequence was. And in every event, you'll have all the photos needed for that specific segment. What I like to do is drop all of those pictures into the timeline, select all clips, make sure the rate conform is at fill, so we don't have any black bars at the top and the bottom, select them all, change the duration to 5. This holds each shot for 5 frames. Create a new compound clip out of this. Now with this compound clip, I can stretch it to make it longer or drag it closer to make the motion happen a little bit faster. This is up to you at the end of however you want your stop motion to look. Without further ado, here's the final stop motion sequence. So all in all, I was very happy with how this project turned out. I was a little bit nervous doing the stop motion outside, but I decided to get out of my comfort zone. We need to find ways to get around our limitations and basically find creative solutions. Black Sheep Coffee Roasters, thank you again so much for keeping us caffeinated and creative. I'm the Creative Fro, keeping you in the know. I'll see you next time for another video.